Well, I'm taking my test, my
Oh,
ADHD test
that's
later
exciting.
today. Yeah, there's like this test you take, and I'm gonna find out whether I have ADHD at my advanced age.
My sister has diagnosed our entire family, which I
Oh
think
well,
she's not
yeah.
necessarily wrong about. And there is a genetic component, but she's like,
Oh
all
my
of
god.
us.
Oh, we are. Well, once again, I want to find that perfect person who doesn't have anything and punch them in the face.
I know.
But today we're talking about something else that makes me sometimes want to punch people in the face, which is holidays.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
the
not
holidays are
easy.
coming. Oh, they're coming. It's co-parenting holiday season, which is always exciting. So we
Yeah.
are going to talk all about how we get through the holidays with our expanded families coming up.
I'm Lily, single mom to teen twins.
I'm recording in here.
And I'm Scott, single dad to a preteen boy. Dad! It's under the sink!
We're two old friends trying to navigate single parenting.
And spending the whole time thinking, I hope I don't fuck this up. All right. Well, first, before we start talking about holidays, which are upon us, feels like it started in October.
It did.
Started
August.
in September.
Yeah.
I know. Started like literally January 2nd. This week, do we have anything that we want to talk about or need forgiveness for?
I was a total asshole at one point this week, if you'd like to hear about it.
I would, please. How are you an a-hole?
I have certain things that are triggers for me. I feel like, as we've talked about, as all humans do.
Mhm.
I've got two of them. One is lying, which is like
Fair enough.
apparently also ADHD component there with like trust and like anyway, I won't fall down that rabbit hole. But the other one is being interrupted.
What?
Being interrupted.
I tried to interrupt you and I wasn't fast enough.
You want to go? Ready? I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
Let me try again.
Yeah.
Being
Being into what? Sorry?
There you go. No more.
Okay.
More aggressive. My ex was very good at interrupting. And
Ooh.
so it's a real sore spot for me. And I don't know if any other single parents are like this, but the things that were like the bugaboos in your marriage are like now the thorn in your side that you're going to confront in every single possible instance of them. So he also started doing this thing where he would just walk away when I was speaking mid-sentence, like not aggressively, just like he had turned off and walked. And I was like, oh, it's the rudest thing that anybody could possibly do to somebody else. However, I didn't realize exactly how frustrating it was until this week. I was sitting at the kitchen. We have an apartment, so like kitchen table is in the same room as the living room. My daughter was sitting on the couch. I was at the table doing something. We were talking. My son was in the kitchen behind me. Like everybody's talking. It was my turn. It's my turn to talk. Like for the seventh time, I was interrupted and like not allowed to finish to speak. And I slammed my hand down on the table like Teresa Giudice in the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I slammed my hand on the table and screamed, "Stop interrupting me! Do you know how rude that is?" I just like, I rarely scream. I rarely like,
Yeah.
we'll argue and it's fine. And I will get intense, but I very rarely scream. And I did. And it was so effective that everybody just started acting real nice immediately. And I didn't apologize because I was like, I'm not fucking apologizing for this because they were wrong. I mean, maybe I should go back now with a couple of days and say like, hey, I probably should have handled that better.
Apologize for what? Like
Screaming at but I thought like, no, I don't want you to interrupt me. It's so rude.
Yeah.
It's so disrespectful. I don't want you to walk away in the middle of when I'm speaking a sentence. Like I was so mad, but that definitely, it's not the kind of behavior I want to model for my children. Like if they acted that way, I was trying to think like, oh, would I want them doing that? And on one hand, yeah, my daughter especially, like if some man is interrupting her, I want her to freak out.
Get in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what I did that I've been thinking about since as like, oh, I should tell Scott about this.
Well, for one thing, you played it perfectly. I do the same thing actually, where it's like you will have more emphasis, like you will get more out of your blow up when you don't do it that often. And so like holding out until that one moment and then bam, that's how I would do it at work all the time with my team. Like I would like be super quiet, super nice. And then when I blew up, everyone
It
shut
meant
the
something.
hell up because it meant something.
Yeah.
It's harder to do with a kid because I want to blow up all the time.
I know.
But when I blow up at him, like really blow up, he doesn't know what to do because he never sees it because I'm a pretty patient person.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the comments from the people who know me on that statement, but I think I'm a pretty patient person. But yeah, I mean, I just tip my cap. I just think you playing it well. Like sure, they were doing something wrong. They're interrupting you. It's disrespectful. You are the matriarch.
That's true.
They honestly should be giving a small piece of their food to you.
And they should. That would be nice if they like treated me like
tribute,
queen that I am.
Exactly.
The bad thing about that, like the way that I don't know. I don't think it was hit. I think that here's the problem. When they were little, I would scream a lot. Right?
Yeah.
Like, stop doing that. Like you asked them like 5 times and they didn't listen. And by the 5th time, like you screamed, like, I said, stop hitting your brother or whatever. And then they would listen. And it made me really angry. And like, I didn't want them to just listen to me when I screamed at them.
Yes.
And like, I had created that situation where like, I wasn't making the change until I got so mad that I was screaming and like, I didn't scare them. They weren't scared of me. I think maybe a little.
When they were little, they were scared of you. You're terrifying.
Yeah, I'm awful.
I've seen you at work. People, they hide.
They do
They're
not.
like,
You're such a liar. Everybody loves me so much, except for my bosses. Like everybody loves me.
I know what I love about Lily. By the way, one thing need to know about Lily. Lily does not keep her mouth shut when she thinks something. Lily will tell you. Lily will tell you. And if Lily works for you, what you will get is you will get somebody who will be honest with you, and you may not want to hear it, but you need to hear it.
That's true.
I never, I wait too long to say it. I'm often a get along kind of guy. And so I wait too long. And so when I finally do say it, sometimes it takes a little hard to get through because I've been so supportive. Lily, on the other hand, is, no, that's stupid. Just to tell you that.
Whatever. And like, if you don't like that, you can get rid of me, which we'll talk about in a future episode.
But that's it. If a boss has a problem with that, that's a boss shooting themselves in the foot because you need people under you. They're going to tell you like it is. Like, what do you want? Yes men all the time?
And I will say the people that worked for me, I loved it. Anyway, so the people who work for me really are devoted and committed because I am also very honest and transparent with them. But that's, again, a topic for another day. So you forgive me?
Of course I forgive you. I admire you.
Thank you.
Is really what that's about. It's just funny. After listening to the first episode, my girlfriend, to be blunt about it, I think fell in love with you a little bit.
Oh.
And she just thought you were hilarious. And now I think that she's going to dump me to marry you.
Okay. I'll be nice to her.
Oh, well, what's funny? I don't know if I tell this on this one, but I met her mom last night for the first time. So my girlfriend is German, and her mom, she doesn't get to see very often because she lives in Germany and like they can't fly over much. So it's like once a year you can see her.
Yeah.
Over. And so I had never met her before, and I've been dating. We've been dating for a year and a half, and her mom comes over and she's 6'1".
Whoa, intimidating.
She's a former javelin athlete. Like she won like medals.
Wow.
She's East German. So she won medals in East Germany during the days of East Germany.
It's a tough lady.
In other words, this is a woman that could break me in half.
Over her knee. Yep.
Like a Kit Kat bar. And I'm right at bosom level, which could go wrong when she hugs me, and which my girlfriend thought was the funniest thing in the world. She's like,
I already am imagining it with like Chevy Chase as you in the movie scene of it. But go on. Yeah.
So I meet her last night, and like the first thing she says to me is, "Do you love my daughter?" She's like, and I'm like, "Is there like a sniper that will take me out if I hesitate even a second?"
There's only one correct answer.
Yeah, I'd say yes, of course. And she goes, "Come here," and she gives me the warmest hug. She was so sweet. She is such a sweet woman, but so tall, and like literally like just how did Germany ever lose the war is what I think. Like, she's like towering over me. And she calls her daughter tiny because her daughter's only 5'9".
Oh,
So
precious.
Thankfully, I'm taller than her daughter, but not taller than Uma.
That's awesome.
Anyway, let's talk about the holidays.
I was going to say, she's staying for the holidays.
She's staying for Thanksgiving.
That's exciting.
And my girlfriend's having Thanksgiving. This is going to come out after Thanksgiving, so everyone will have already survived Thanksgiving, but we're recording this right before Thanksgiving. And my girlfriend is throwing Thanksgiving at her house. And my mom is invited and my sister. Her mom will be there, her family, my family, and then her friends. Because my girlfriend can't do anything half-assed. Like, she has to invite the world to everything she does.
That's really nice.
So it's so nice. I mean, she throws these parties for her friends. She really is, but I feel like I need to shit talk her so that guys don't like seek her out.
Try to steal her. Yeah.
I know. I mean, I am so lucky.
Already. She's in love with me, so I'm going out.
I know.
First,
it's already
so
dangerous. But I have my son for it. It's like such a blended family moment. And this is my first blended family moment.
It's exciting.
I know. I mean,
hope you don't fuck it up.
I think I might. I'm a little nervous. But it's so weird. It's like this new chapter. And so it's interesting. That's why I really wanted to talk to you about this, because there's so many layers, I think, to co-parenting holidays. And there's the bit where it's, what does your document say? Who gets it when and whatever.
Yeah.
But that's like the cold way of doing it. How can it be done?
Yeah.
So what do you do? Like, what is your overall holiday kind of
what is our plan?
Arrangement?
So we did mediation. We didn't do like a regular divorce, and we were broke, and like the mediation was like, well, can you suck it up so that we can not spend multiple thousands of dollars on this? And we both agreed that we could. And we just said, like, yeah, we share holidays like that. So our agreement is so vague, but what we intended by that is that we'd be together for them with the kids, because that's the most, I just can't imagine like one of us having them or one of us not having them for the holidays, because we both want to be with them. And I'm sure that
every holiday. Sorry, I interrupted you, which you hate.
Ahead. I know I do.
I know you hate it. Don't yell at me. Please don't yell at me.
It's Thanksgiving and Christmas. Like, those are the only two we really care about.
So you share Thanksgiving, really?
Well, for the past 2 years, he decided to go to his girlfriend's father's house. Her parents are also divorced, and didn't tell us ahead of time. So it was like, that was a lot of ugly that happened for a moment.
Yeah, because how do your kids take it?
I probably am way more hurt for them than they are at all.
We so preemptively worry about that.
Yeah, it just depends. Like, there's a lot of things that like I pre-worry about that they're like, I don't care. What are you talking about? Like, it's fine. But that's my role as a mother. But this year, we asked them what they wanted to do. Because, now that, like, if it was just the three of us, like, there's lots of different, I normally made Thanksgiving every year. Like, I did Thanksgiving. And, like, if there were stragglers in the city, like, they were welcome to come. It was just, like, always us. We used to have, like, it's the holiday that I reclaimed from my family. Because, like, I hope they're not listening. I love cooking. And I'm good at it.
Why should they not know that? Do they take advantage of you?
Because they're not good at it.
Do they think they're good at it?
I can't say. They like what they like. I like what I like.
So are you good at cooking, or are you good at cooking the things that you like?
So good that when I hear parents say things about their kids, like they just like poke at what I have put down in front of the plate in front of them, then I think to myself, well, my kids tell me they think I should open a restaurant. So.
Well, and by the way, there's truth to that, because as I've said before,
terrible. You're terrible.
I am to food what, I don't know, Stalin was to Russia.
Yeah.
It's just like, there's no way for me to finish that metaphor intelligently, but like, I'm awful at it and I hate it. And you can taste the hate. You can, you taste the love. You can taste the hate.
Yeah.
But I love making like pies and baking. So my baking always tastes good, but I hate
Not
cooking.
Everybody can do that. Even people who are good cooks can't do that.
A lot of cooks have trouble baking because they are artistes and they like to do things, they like to
That's why
trust their
my
gut.
mother cannot bake, because she doesn't think that following a recipe is as important as doing what feels right. And I'm like, Mother, it's science.
Yes, you follow the rules. I'm the kind of person who will look up how much a pinch actually is. I want to know how much a pinch is. You tell me to pinch salt. How much is a pinch? I need to measure that pinch. I'm not just going to pinch. This could taste like crap. No, you got to do it right.
Well, for yes, and
you're going to yes and me on that.
It does have to be instinct. So my kids do like what I make. They are good. And but I reclaimed Thanksgiving because A, I don't like their cooking. B, there's a lot of them, and they're in Pennsylvania.
Who's them?
This is mostly like my mom's family and my sister. And
so when you say they're bad at cooking, you're talking about your whole family.
The only people who would be doing the cooking. Also, they live in Pennsylvania, which I don't know if you know, is like the capital of mayonnaise. And
you like mayonnaise.
I'm not opposed to it. And it's so...
I hate mayonnaise.
Like when they're like, oh, for a while, my kids didn't eat meat. My son didn't eat meat for like 6 years. More, maybe. My daughter only eats like white meat, like doesn't eat any red meat. And so like we would just stick to the vegetarian stuff because it was easy enough. And when you go to Pennsylvania, they're like, oh, we're making plenty of salads. Don't worry about it. That salad is not what you're...
No, actually, I do know what they are. Those are mayonnaise salads. Potato salad is considered a salad. And, you're like, I don't think these salads have more carbohydrates than the actual like fries.
And no vegetable can exist on its own. Like it's always in a cheese sauce or like a can of mushrooms or like I'm not saying this to be snobby. It's just not what I prefer. It's overwhelming to me. It makes me feel sick.
I'm saying it, by the way, to be snobby, just so that everyone knows. Like I've seen what that, and I eat awful stuff. So I'm like, I'm not snobby that way. I just say own it. I just don't like when people call it salad. It's not salad.
It's not salad.
Like, ambrosia is not a salad of any, like it's Jello.
Like if they made Brussels sprouts, for example, like you would never recognize the Brussels sprout that would in whatever the Brussels sprout dish was. Or like broccoli especially always has a cheese sauce in it. And I am a roast the broccoli in the oven with olive oil, salt and pepper and garlic. And like it's simple, it's like beautiful and simple and let the ingredients shine. We're getting off tangent here, but perhaps you can tell how I feel.
This is very important. This is a holiday. This is a holiday conversation.
It is. It's holiday specific.
It is, because what you run into a lot of is the things that you would put up with when you were married, you don't have to put up with anymore.
Yeah.
And these like different culinary needs you don't have to put up with anymore. And I find that like that friction starts happening a little bit more of like, oh, well, what are we going to have?
Well, would you like to know a fun thing that a post-divorce fun thing? I know we don't really bash our exes on this, and we shouldn't, because that's not good for
I will not
anybody.
bash my ex because I know she's listening.
This is not my ex, but I am a very good cook.
Yeah.
My ex's new girlfriend, I think, maybe struggles in that department, and I think that
that's so hard for her. I'm sorry, my heart's going out to her.
It is. She's very young. She has time to learn.
How young is young?
Now not so as young as she was when they first started dating.
Well, that is kind of how time works, but yeah.
But she's 16 years younger than him. So like she is.
Oh, thank God you finished that. You're like, I thought she's 16 is what I thought you were saying.
As a teenager, she has a lot of room to grow.
She needs, I'm like, she's got time. 16 years younger. Wow. Well,
I just, I know that she's not great at it. So for this Thanksgiving, I asked my kids what they wanted to do. My daughter said that she wanted him to stay and like have Thanksgiving. So we're going to have this Thanksgiving. He's going to be here, which is probably our last Thanksgiving as a family of forever.
Oh, no. You don't know that. Well, maybe. No, you'll be a family of 5, probably, at least. Now that they'll have a, woman in their life that's the same age as they are.
Well, and on the one hand, I do really understand that he should probably spend some of holiday with his girlfriend's family if it's serious, and like if this relationship progresses where it looks like it's going, that is going to be the expectation. But also, these are your kids.
That's so hard, though. I mean, like I think it's almost harder for you in a way because you've had such a kind of positive relationship. You don't have to draw those lines. And so you just end up having to compromise a lot. And that just takes work and energy. And it's funny, there is just something, even though I think it's better for the kids and it's better long term and all of that, but it just takes energy to constantly compromise rather than just have the every other week, every other. Like my girlfriend does every other. She's like, and she's a great
my best friend has that too. Like she and her ex, they swap holidays by year. So like one year she'll have them Thanksgiving and not for Christmas, but it makes me so like, I don't know that she's sad because she enjoys the time alone, but it makes me so sad to think of that as like, and if I were in that position, like I would be so sad to be alone on Christmas. Like,
well, to me, it's funny that you put Christmas and Thanksgiving together because I don't put those together. Like Thanksgiving, we alternate. Christmas is different. Like to me, Christmas.
What do you guys do for Christmas?
Well, we he wakes up here. Everything changed once he found out the Santa Claus truth.
What are you talking about?
Oh, sorry. I don't know. I know a lot of young kids listen to this podcast, so maybe I shouldn't say anything.
Listen, Santa Claus is alive in my heart. So
for Christmas, every morning he wakes up, he does a couple of presents here because he just can't stay overnight with her because of her health issues. So he always wakes up here. And then I gather him and we go over to her place and we do the rest of Christmas there. For a while, she's better now. And so the last Christmas, she was able to come to the house, thankfully. And so he woke up and we were all downstairs.
There. Yeah.
And we're going to just continue to do that.
That's what we do too. Like their dad comes here for Christmas because Ian brings his dog now too, which makes it even more fun. Everybody enjoyed giving the dog a wrapped stick last year, most of all. Neither of us are religious. Our kids aren't religious. We would have like Chinese food and like get Chinese food from like Sunset Park in Brooklyn and bring it home and have soup dumplings and watch It's a Wonderful Life. And it was like the favorite. So the past couple of years, it's just been me and the kids doing that, just like maintaining that tradition. My daughter likes things to be the same. And so we've been doing that. And then he comes over on Christmas morning. Like we'll text him when the kids are awake and they're teenagers now. So like waking up for on
it's
Christmas.
It's so different. It was a lot harder.
Yeah.
Before he knew about Santa, it was a lot harder.
Yeah.
Because you can't really, it's just so hard to switch. He's only ever lived in this house. It's like, I ended up with the house. And so like the sense of, this is where Santa comes.
Well,
and how
like,
do we do that?
Forget even about Santa. Like this is where Christmas happens. Like, I know that's like a one house versus the other house. And like, this is very much home because they've only ever lived here until, he got a place. And like now it actually breaks my heart a little bit when they refer to our addresses, like when they're talking to
you're like, no, this is home.
I know.
This
They'll
is
say
home.
like, I'm at, in the name of our street and, or they're at, the name of his street. And I'm like, it's home. No. But that's where Christmas happens and I'm also the one who like, not that he gets a lot of presents that are unique to him.
So what happened there? Because it's like, that also happens where it's like the present kind of, I won't call it, it's not a war per se, but there is a sense of like, what am I going to give versus what are you going to give? Are we going to work together?
We collaborate.
You collaborate.
Yeah,
you collaborate.
Yeah, and we definitely talk about it, and even with like what the other one wants from the kids, if they ask, like we'll like collaborate with each other to like make suggestions. So like if our kids are like, oh, what do you think Dad wants for Christmas?
I don't think my son has ever asked that question.
Because he's a boy, my daughter asks.
Yeah, I don't think he cares what I want for Christmas. He's like, what? All you want for Christmas is to give me more Legos.
He's getting to an age where you should make him think about what he's getting for other people.
This is an interesting question. So you kind of collaborate to get your when it comes to what the kids will get each other, get their other parent. Like you would give it. Like, would you go out with your kids to buy the present they're going to give you?
Oh yeah, I bought it many, 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 many times.
See, I had to nip that in the bud. because my ex gives such awful presents to me and always has, that like, like she gives me things that she thinks she gave me things that she thought I needed, not what I actually wanted. So I got a lot of like,
I have a mother like that.
I mean, like she got me a backpack one year that like, cause I commuted and like, oh, I know you like backpacks rather than like over the shoulder bags. And so I got you this backpack. It was like this big. It was like a little like small the backpack. It's like, it looks so cute.
Oh, it was on purpose or like?
On purpose. She thought it looked cute.
Oh.
I could fit
it wasn't like
a
an
pen
Amazon error. Like, oh, I don't know what 12 inches looks like.
Her aesthetic has always been, it's got to look, looks great. And then function is second. So it's got to look great. And so like our house always looked great until you sat down. And then, you'd realize that the chair itself.
You fell through the, yeah.
Oh,
okay.
no, it would like it was like, do you ever see the Noni sketch on Saturday Night Live where it's a sketch with like Fred Armisen and Maya Rudolph, and they played these like Swedish people named Noni, and their furniture was always incredibly uncomfortable and impractical and like weird. That's our house. Our house had like weird, like, Nordic chairs and stuff. So she would get me these presents.
There is an art. Like, not everybody's good at it. I'm not great at it. My daughter has the gift. Her grandmother, my ex's mother, who is long deceased, also had it. She just like knew, like, oh, like even if it wasn't something that you'd ask for, like she was really good at knowing, like, oh, she'll love this. I looked forward to getting gifts from her, and like my daughter's like that too. I don't have that.
My dad had that too. I don't have that either. But I don't. My answer is always, all right, let me find out. Like, try to find out what somebody wants.
I grew up with a mother who never actually got me the things that I wanted. It was like,
exactly. Yeah.
All I want to do is get you what you asked for. And like,
yeah. Why is that so crazy? And so I've had to ask. I'm like, when my son now talks to my mom to buy me a present, because my mom has a better idea of what I actually want.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. But the other flip of it is that my ex wants me to advise him on what to give her
yes. Yeah.
And I'm like,
well, that's what we do. That's how it comes down to. When I think it is a good and generous thing to do for your child to help them know.
Hey, you're right. You're
here's something
right.
like what you could do, like, and if it isn't even something specific, like if you just want to give him the tools, just be like, well, what is it that she likes doing? And like, you name the things that she likes doing. Like, oh, maybe something with drawing, like whatever. Like that's something that I like doing. So sometimes I get art stuff from my kids because like, that's an interest I have, or, whatever.
Oh, I like that method. Cause that was, it was more like I would negotiate. Well, here's the question though. Am I supposed to buy it?
Yes.
So I buy his present for.
Yeah. Until he has a job. Yeah. Buy it for. And like in that, like if you're talking about price limit there, like that's a perfectly reasonable thing to set for him. Like say like this, you can spend up to this amount of money. Like I know my ex does not set any kind of limit. And so they get me a lot of stuff. I mentally set a limit, which is sweet. Like
you guys, man, you're like not even human how well you guys function. I'm
we're just emotionally dysfunctional. That's all. Like,
I guess, man. It's so funny though. Cause I really did like, at a certain point, I kind of chafed against being the one to buy the present.
Here's the thing that I would think of it as, like, do not think of it as you're getting a present for your ex-wife. I would say you think of it as teaching your son to care for other people. Like, honestly, it's really enjoyable watching your kids get to the age where they like to see the reaction of people they've gotten a present for, like open their gifts and like love it or not, like, and at a certain age, like that becomes more important depending on the child, like becomes more important than whatever they're getting. And like, if you foster that feeling in them, you're just making a good person. Like, so don't think about it as something you're doing for her. It's you're doing something for him.
Okay. All right. I'll think about it that way. You're right. And there's just some of it where it's just like, you have to disentangle certain things. And it's tough to disentangle.
Well, how long does your share day last on Christmas? Because for us, like we clean up presents and like he'll probably leave in the afternoon and go do, if she's in town.
Christmas was a big deal from when I was little. So Christmas is not a moment or even a day. Christmas is a week. And it involves all these different activities. Which is what made this more difficult for us, because it isn't just Christmas morning. It's Christmas, going over to my parents for Christmas dinner. It's the night before. My cousin throws a kind of like a larger family party, and we go and we're around the cousins. We always do the tree on a certain day. We always go, like, so many traditions.
Yeah.
And so when you can't share every tradition.
No.
And a lot of those traditions are my traditions. They're not even my ex's traditions. And she is at a disadvantage because so much of her family doesn't live locally.
I think there is something too. And I will say as a woman, I tend to get sentimental about certain things that maybe not everybody would be sentimental about, but like,
I'm sentimental. We're all sentimental.
Yes, that's why I amended my statement. But I get overly emotional about certain parts of it, and I've had to work really hard on, like, it doesn't have, just because it's not like it was before, doesn't mean that can't be good again. So like I try really hard on the, like, going to pick out the Christmas tree. If it's just me, and like sometimes my son doesn't even want to come because he's like doing something else. So like my daughter and I will do it, and like we make it fun for us. Like,
that's a great example. I mean, I like, it's so true. The thing that like I had to do over the past 4 or 5 years is you're creating new traditions and embrace that. Like that, I embraced it. Like he goes with me, we go to the tree farm and we pick out the tree, and like we do all those like fun stuff. And he won't help me trim the damn tree, and it gets me so annoyed. I wanted that to be the tradition, and he won't do it.
No, I don't want to trim a tree either. It's sticky.
It's not sticky. It's fun. So I do the whole damn thing.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Like cut the branches off?
No, trimming the tree means putting the ornaments on.
Got it.
No, I'm not saying he doesn't want to like shave the tree.
I know. If it makes you feel any better, my son doesn't want to either. So would you like to know what we did? So that
what did you do?
So like my daughter and I will do it. Even when I was married, my ex wasn't particularly interested. Just their ornaments that we would save. So like they would do theirs. So like you're still participating. And I like it, if they don't want to do something, like forcing them to do something doesn't make it more fun.
That was a surprising. There are these little holiday landmines that you don't realize you have, and you keep stepping on them the first couple of years, especially. And one of the big ones for me were the ornaments. Taking the ornaments out that first Christmas and realizing that half of these aren't mine, and yet I still really care about them.
I know.
And I have to like hand these over, or the worst are the ones you buy together. Like we would go into the city every year, like we'd have a little ornament day where we would go to ABC Carpet. I don't know if you know.
I know. Yeah, no, they've got great ornaments.
And so it's like, it's like a very Christmassy place. And we would buy these ornaments, and those ornaments cost a lot of money.
I know.
So we would save up and buy like one ornament. And so we have like, it's like every year of our relationship is there in ornaments. And how do you split that up?
You're going to make me cry, first of all.
I know. It's making me tear up. I'm like, it was so, I didn't expect it.
I'm not going to cry.
Oh God, hold it together.
There's like
Heart
a
of stone.
Stupid CVS Frosty the Snowman ornament with like 1996 on it. Like we literally bought it at the stupid CVS when we lived in Bethesda, and like it's still in the box. And that one's hard.
Yeah. It's funny. There are ways in which, you wall certain things off. You want to, especially if you're the one that's moving on a little faster. I'm the one who's moving on a little faster. So I see how difficult that is. And I go overboard in the other direction, sometimes, and sometimes I'm colder than I should be. And, it's such a hard thing to navigate, how to just emotionally handle post-divorce. But the ornaments, there is no like, short of like, I don't know, splitting up your furniture, but even that didn't matter. It was like the ornaments are so personal, and they're so, it's like even more than the I'm trying to make you cry. That's what I'm doing. But like, I'm actively trying to make you cry. I know. But it's weird because I had handled the photo album, and that was something I was prepared for. And I had just forgotten that ornaments are just another form of
memory.
Of not even one memory. It's like your relationship, and you can hop from ornament to ornament and move through time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was definitely, that was tough. And I'm at to the point now where, there's certain stuff I gave back, certain stuff that I don't take out at all. And certain stuff where it's just like, you know what, I'm just going to own it and be like, you know what, this was a nice memory and I'll keep it.
Yeah. Like, it's funny that we're both getting emotional about thing that we both wanted our marriages to end. Like,
I know,
like, and I think that it's funny. It's not funny. It's interesting that you get emotional about it because it is like a grief process.
Yeah. It's still real. Like, it's just because you want it to end doesn't mean you can't mourn its passing.
Yeah. So I try to think about it like I've had these horrible, my grandmother made lots and lots and lots of stuff. She died at 99. She lived a long, wonderful life, but in her later years, she was a beautiful seamstress. Like she was an artist and like could make anything, but in her later years, like she lost dexterity, but she still made stuff. And there are these terrible, terrible, like, bells that she made that I have that like now I can look at them and kind of laugh about like how she had 16 grandchildren and she still gave us stuff well into her 90s, which was phenomenal. But now I can look at them with like a sweet fondness about her, and I hope to get to that point. Like I'm closer and closer and closer every year for us. Like, I'll still set aside his one Baltimore Ravens ugly snow globe ornament that like I'll set aside for him to put up like when he comes over, like on our tree.
That's so nice. Yeah.
But it can be a landmine.
I know. And also because my ex had really good taste. I mean, it wasn't always functional.
Yeah.
But it was always good taste.
It looked good.
So it looked good. Like I would say that the quality of my tree has gone down. Like it doesn't look as good as it used to. The only thing, what is nice is when you get to like not have to compromise on certain things. And like she always wanted white lights on the tree. And I am a colored lights on the tree guy. I just like color because my favorite thing to do is at the end of the night,
turn the lights off,
sit on the couch and stare. I mean, I know I'm not saying anything every other person listening also doesn't feel, but the colored lights, that goes directly to my childhood. So I can sit there and I can be 10 years old. Can't wait to see what I'm getting the next morning.
For sure.
And with the white lights, it was beautiful, but it was different. It didn't connect to my childhood.
Well, and I'm like your wife. Like I'm a visual snob and I really loved white lights, but the same thing happened. Like we ended up getting more and more colored lights. And like the thing that I always want, like I'll fantasize, like looking through catalogs or whatever. I'm like, oh, we should get an all white tree and we should do a theme and it should be beautiful. And my daughter's like, that's not Christmas.
No, that's not Christmas. What are you? What are you, the neighbors from Christmas Vacation? No.
I know.
I would much rather have a live squirrel in my house than a white tree.
It looks so pretty.
No, God. I have one friend who is incredibly wealthy, so he will be my friend forever.
Great.
But he has a giant house.
Does he need a girlfriend?
I know. Well, he just got married.
Oh, well.
He has enough rooms in his house that he puts trees up in different rooms.
That's a suburban thing, I hear. Like people put trees everywhere.
He can have the big tree, the regular tree.
Yeah.
For his daughter and everything, but then
he can have a beautiful tree.
Cool tree, yeah. A beautiful tree. An attractive tree. It was so funny. I did not expect to go down this road with this conversation at all.
To get emotional about it?
Well, I just wasn't even thinking about it. We were just talking
about
this, and then suddenly I started thinking about that, and I'm like, it is so interesting, the landmine part of it, because you're just so busy trying to logistically make things work, and you think about your kids so much during the holidays. Like, it's for them.
Yep.
And you forget how much of it is really for you. I think the thing I forget is that these traditions are they're more malleable for the kids and getting formed.
Yeah.
We're the ones that really have the set in stone tradition that we want to keep going.
I do worry what's going to happen. Like my kids are seniors in high school, so next year they're going to be away. And like, I worry now, like I assume that they'll come back to me. I don't know, like after, like for holidays or whatever, like, are they going to go to their dad? Like, I don't know how it'll be. And that's nerve-wracking. It's hard, but also like
That is
this year
nerve-wracking.
has like extra pressure on it because it's like it's the last to everything.
They're coming back.
I know
They are
they are.
coming back.
I know
They
are, but
want
it's
to
like-
eat well. They're
they-
going to come back for the food.
I know. They do, and that's fine. And like my daughter will definitely, because you know she like talk about tradition. Like the girl loves things to be
Yeah.
the same. But the thing that I like, it's not. Yes, they'll come back. It's never going to be.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same. I mean, I almost feel like we get a little bit of a head start on realizing that it will never be the same. Like we had to deal with it a little earlier than maybe the empty nesters that are having to deal with it, you know, just as their kids leave.
And I think that maybe that's what's doing me a little bit of disservice with our relationship being so focused on maintaining things for our kids, how they have always been. Like, so I'm just getting to the point, like it's just like any empty nester of like, or future about to be empty nester, realizing that like there's a bigger change coming than even the one that we just did.
Oh, well, I think you're going to have an amazing holiday. Mostly because you're going to eat like
we eat
like kings and queens.
You know, I haven't for the past couple of Thanksgivings. I haven't cooked. I've done like mix of like cooking some and like having one year where I'm like, you know, I just don't feel like it. I'm going to do like a catered one and like, you know, so I did. Williams Sonoma does not sponsor this podcast, but if they'd like to, they can. I did like a Williams Sonoma Thanksgiving where like you can order everything and like just deliver it to your house and like you throw it in the oven and and I was like, I don't feel like doing things. I'm busy, like my job. But this year I'm going to do like the real deal.
This is your sales pitch.
Yeah.
This is the comeback next year. This will be the one where it's like you were going to have such a good holiday that you're not going to want to go anywhere else.
Yep. And my son has a girlfriend now who's like, you know, they've been together for, I think, like 6 months, which is for high school super serious.
Oh my God. That's practically married.
I know. But that's like another like realization that I'm having. It's like, these aren't mine. Like, these are my people. You know what I mean? I mean,
oh God,
they are.
You're
like,
right.
Your kids are your own. But like, this is like, you're not raising children to just like, then be with you forever. Like you're raising children to go out and have their own lives. And I think about how I am, you know, with my parents. Like,
I mean, I have spent some form of my holiday almost every year with my family since I was born.
And not me.
Yeah. So I mean, so it's possible. And like, and part of it is because they created a place I wanted to be.
Totally.
On a holiday.
Yep.
So I think you're doing that. So, you know,
okay, that makes me feel better.
No, you are. It matters because I mean, your daughter's already kind of giving you that signal, but it's like you create something that your kids are going to want to revisit, and it's not a time of strife. You've made it a time of unity. You've made it a time of excitement. Everyone's welcome. It's all warm. They don't have to get the pit in their stomach that I think some or you know some child's of divorce especially have to get around the holidays where they're forced to choose and stuff. That's what I wanted to make sure we were doing is like, I just want him to be happy about this day and not feel like he has to worry about anything.
Yep. I mean, that goes back to like like why we get presents for each other too. Like, you know, like I still get him something. Like, it's not like it used to be. Like, you know, I'm not getting him a new computer for Christmas.
Good. But like, so good.
It was just his 50th birthday. And like, I got him a 50th birthday present. Just like, I want my kids to see that.
You know, it's so funny. Like I push against that sometimes because I'm not thinking about it from my son's point of view. Thinking about it from just like, you know, it honestly makes me guilty. Makes me feel guilty because I'm the one that wanted to marry.
Yeah. But if what you're teaching him is like the mother of my child deserves this too.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Oh man. By the end of this podcast, I'm going to be such a better person. I know. Oh, God.
Oh, not that.
This was a very Oprah episode. I mean, Jesus.
It to be.
No, but you know what? It's. I think I'm glad we did because you know I needed to talk about this kind of stuff because this has been sort of I'm going through co-parenting. We're trying to get back to this place. It's so hard. I'm sure a lot of single parents have this issue. You know, divorced parents. Where it's just like, even when you're being supportive, we do this to each other where it's like there's always that little bit of that resentment that gets put in there.
Sure.
You don't even mean to do it. It just lives in you.
Yeah,
and
I'm
so
angry at him
out.
right now, just so you know. Like, I'm angry at him.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it comes in. And so it's like, how do you create these moments? And these gift things is a great way to do that, where it can be devoid of all of that. There's no resentment that just goes into buying somebody a gift unless you buy them a gift that is like, here's the screwdriver because you never worked around the house unless you did something like that. But if you like can just give a nice thoughtful, help your kid get a gift, or maybe you get him a gift, that is like a way for you to have just an open, baggage free interaction.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what it's about.
I talk about in the, other episodes, how we separated once before when our kids were babies. And it was way uglier, and I have because I'm doing this the second time, it's been way easier. And now it's been 4 years. So it's much, much easier. But the thing that I learned from that first one, I was real, real angry, throwing furniture and breaking it angry, which is not my proudest moment. It was a small piece of furniture and it was Scandinavian. So it wasn't that heavy. But
so it was Scandinavian.
It really did.
That I could then just put back together.
You can buy replacement parts, which is a very nice thing about
it. Was called a Schwergbing.
Well, if anybody needs to know, you definitely can buy replacement runners for your Eames rocking chairs. Anyway.
Learn that the hard way, yeah.
What happened in that first time was that anger just made me miserable. It was a terrible thing.
You're
He
right.
cheated on me and I discovered it, and I had every right in the world to be furious that I had newborn twins and a cheating husband. The anger was strong. This time I knew, it was sad and I was mad that it had happened again, but I know now from my experience that the only way through this is finding forgiveness and knowing that you don't have to deal with the bad things anymore because they're not your problem to deal with anymore. Yeah. And just letting them go. And if you can lead, this is going to be such an Oprah thing that I'm about to say, and I apologize and I hate it.
Everyone
already.
Get ready. And by the way, everyone look under your chairs. You're going to find a car.
You a new car. If you can lead with love, even in, times when you're pissed off, like I said, I'm talking about him getting emotional about it. I'm super pissed off at him right now. But whatever, that's how relationships go. You don't stop loving somebody that you loved. Yeah. So if you can tap back into that well and want goodness and happiness for them as somebody who's important to your kid, then I think that's the only way that you can get through it with sanity. And if you're hoping to get to a place where I am, if your relationship is not this kind, don't, and it's fine. And there's no judgment from me at all. You need to do what's good for you, but this is what's good for me and why it sounds kind of idyllic. It's not because of what he's done. It's because of what I've done. He's followed my lead, which is amazing. And not to take away credit from him, because I'm sure there's plenty of times he's annoyed at me or pissed at me or whatever too. But he also walks away when I see I've triggered him. He'll walk away with without fighting in a way that we used to when we were married. So it really is it is possible if that's good for you.
Well, have a happy holidays.
Thank
we'll
you,
end
Scott.
it. End
you
it
too.
there.
I want to come to your family's week
it's the
of
best.
Christmas. It sounds amazing.
It's the best. My cousin throws the best Christmas Eve party, and now we're adding a new one because my girlfriend's going to do a Eve of Christmas Eve thing that we're invited. So it's we keep adding these things.
You get a Yule log out of it?
Oh, I hope so. I just want pentatonics all week. That's my Christmas music. But I'm super excited. So you have a great time, and I can't wait to go and eat some of your food. So you need to, if you want to do a tasting, you can do a Christmas tasting. And I can come and taste some of the Christmas tasting.
All right, Scott. Until we talk again. Yeah. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave a like or a crazy comment. We'd love to hear from you, and see you again soon.